Okay, so on this video we're on number 2. I already graphed the shape, so go ahead and do so. We're going to check the lengths of the sides. So the first thing I want to do again, if you look back to the instructions on the left, step 1, check congruency of the sides. So I'm going to check the congruency of QR first. QR equals so -2 minus 1 squared plus -7 minus, or plus 5 is plus 5 squared. I'll get 9 plus 4, the square root of 9 plus 4 equals the square root of 13. Alright, after QR, let's check ST, the side opposite of it. And let's see if opposite sides are congruent. 4 minus 1 squared -7 plus 9 squared equals 9 square root of 9 plus 4, which is also the square root of 13. So opposite sides are congruent so far. Now let's check our S. Square root of 1 minus 4 squared plus -5 plus 7 squared square root of 9 plus 4 square root of 13. Let's check QT. -2 minus 1 squared -7 plus 7 squared. Nope, I got that. -7 plus 9 squared. Get the square root of 9 plus 4, which is the square root of 13. Alright, so all 4 sides are congruent. So if you look to the left, let's check back. All 4 sides are congruent, diagonals are not. That's a rhombus. All 4 sides are congruent and diagonals are congruent. That's a square. So we need to check those two. So let's check the diagonal QS. QS, -2 minus 4 squared plus -7 plus 7 squared Okay, you're going to come out to 0 here and 36, and the square root of 36 is 6. Let's check RT. 1 minus 1 squared, -5 plus 9 squared. I'll get the square root of 16, and the square root of 16 is 4. So diagonals are not congruent. All sides are the same. All sides are congruent. Diagonals are not, making this a rhombus. On to number 3. So first let's check, I didn't number these out, so J, K, L, M. First let's check side JK. So using the distance formula, 5 minus 8 squared, -1 minus 2 squared I'll get 9 plus 9, which is the square root of 18. Let's check the side opposite, LM. 11 minus 8 squared, 10 minus 7 squared, 9 plus 9, again the square root of 18. Alright, so good, opposite sides are congruent. Let's check KL. The slide length here. Get 8 minus 11 squared. 2 minus 10 squared. You get 9 plus 64, which is the square root of 73. Side opposite of KL, we're going to check, so JM. 5 minus 8 squared plus negative 1 minus 7 squared. Take the square root, and we'll come out to the square root of 73. Okay, so opposite sides are congruent. So we're between a parallelogram and a rectangle at the moment. So now I want to check diagonals. So if the diagonals are congruent, it's a rectangle. If they are not congruent, I have a parallelogram. So here we go. Let's check the diagonal JL. I get 5 minus 11 squared plus negative 1 minus 10 squared. 36, you get 11, so that's 121. Comes out to the square root of 157. Now let's check KM, the side diagonal, the other diagonal. KM. 8 minus 8 squared plus 2 minus 7 squared. That'll zero out. That's 25, so I get the square root of 25, which is just 5. So the diagonals are not congruent. So all opposite sides are congruent. Diagonals are not congruent, making this a parallelogram. Okay, as for the last two, you're going to try on your own as study material. So again, you're going to use the distance formula. D equals square root x1 minus x2 squared plus y1 minus y2 squared. And if you see that none of the sides are being congruent and you're getting wacky answers, then go back and check your steps.